He transmigrated into the world of immortals and was born into a very powerful family. He had suffered a lot in his previous life, so he wanted to live a comfortable life in this life. He did not want to cultivate. But one day the system appeared before him and told the protagonist that if he took its help, he could cultivate and become an immortal. But the protagonist flatly refused to cultivate. But the system was not going to leave the protagonist alone, and repeatedly forced him to cultivate and become an immortal. So let's see how the protagonist's journey begins to become an immortal. Some women are relaxing under a beautiful mountain valley. But to disturb their relaxation, a woman there tells them, since ancient times, our cultivation world has revered the strong, treating ascension as the ultimate goal. But you, Luo Qianfan, rely on your prestigious family background and make no effort to improve. You're nothing but a disgrace to the cultivation world. I despise you. And this woman's name is Yu Yan, and Yu Yan points her finger at the protagonist, but the protagonist does not pay much attention to Yu Yan's words. He is relaxing, and the protagonist's name is Luo Qianfan, who is the successor of the prestigious Luo family. And as soon as some ladies hear Yu Yan's words, they get very angry, and they say to Yu Yan in an angry voice, "How dare you!" This is the Treasure Pavilion's special event, held once every 50 years, the Banquet of Flowing Waters and Floating Wine Cups. Which sect are you from, to behave so rudely? But Yu Yan says, Lady Changyu, don't try to intimidate me with your big talk. What I despise most are the ugly faces of those who shamelessly flatter others. And listening to Yu Yan's rudeness, some ladies start talking and they say, "Who's this woman? How dare she speak to young Master Luo like that? Indeed, she's so foolish. If she angers young Master Luo, even the power behind her will be in trouble. How irritating, talking like that about young Master Luo." And listening to those ladies, Yu Yan thinks, you ignorant women don't understand a thing. As the young master of the immortal Luo family, Luo Qianfan has seen all kinds of women. Compared to those who throw themselves at him only to be forgotten, men prefer women who are hard to get. And the lady sitting next to the protagonist is named Lady Changyu, and she says, "Young Master Luo, I apologize for my poor guest selection. I'll have this disrespectful person removed at once." So the protagonist says, "No need." And Lady Changyu thinks, "Besides, I've investigated. Luo Qianfan is known for his gentle manner and courtesy. He's never engaged in senseless killing. As long as I play my cards right, winning over his heart will be a piece of cake." And the protagonist gets a little serious and thinks, why does this scene seem familiar? Like one of those old-school campus romance dramas. It's been 18 years since I reincarnated, and suddenly I'm feeling nostalgic seeing such a scene. Thinking back to my previous life, I've always been doing things I had to do. I had to get the best grades. Had to get into the best university. Had to land a good job. I spent my whole life doing things I had to do, but it feels like I never did anything I truly wanted to do. I spent a lifetime competing, exhausted, without ever knowing what it was all for. When I was reborn, I swore I would never compete again in this life. I want to live a life that makes me happy. I want to slack off. And remembering all these things, the protagonist is comfortably enjoying his wine. But then the system appears in front of him and Luo Qianfan gets shocked seeing it, and wine comes out of his mouth, and the system says to the protagonist, "Detected. Host has been mocked." Activating the ultimate competition system automatically. But when the ladies see that Luo Qianfan has spat out the wine, they still feel that Luo Qianfan is looking very handsome. Then Lady Changyu asks Luo Qianfan, "Young Master Luo, is the wine not to your liking?" But Luo Qianfan says that I am fine. But Luo Qianfan is surprised to see the system panel and he gets into deep thinking. It seems others can't see this system. A system, huh? Well, nowadays systems are pretty much standard for transmigrators. It would be weird not to have one. But still, this one arrived pretty late. And the system confidently tells the protagonist, the luckiest and most powerful competition system spirit. I have arrived, dash. And the system comes close to Luo Qianfan and holds his cheeks and tells the crying protagonist, "Do you know how I've lived these past 18 years? After being bound to you and transmigrating to this immortal world, I've been waiting to activate. If only you, the host, had done just one competitive thing, just one, the system could have been activated. But for 18 years. Not a single thing. Not even one. And after listening to the system, Luo Qianfan understands why he got the system so late. And the system further says, but that's all in the past. Thanks to that woman who mocked you, I was able to activate through self-initiation. From now on, this competitive system will guide your path of cultivation. This system can grant any wish you have, and if you complete competition tasks, you'll receive valuable rewards. And Luo Qianfan asked the system, any wish? Are you sure? So the system replies, of course. And the protagonist makes a demand from the system and says to it, in that case, could you please unbound yourself from me and let me go back to drinking? And when the system hears that Luo Qianfan wants to be unbound by her, she gets shocked and says to the protagonist, don't you crave limitless power? Don't you long for the ability to control fate with a wave of your hand? Don't you desire endless wealth? Why not? But Luo Qianfan refuses the system and says to it, sorry, but I've already decided to slack off. I don't have those worldly desires. Also, I'm allergic to the words compete. And the system says, but that woman insulted you in front of everyone. Aren't you mad? Complete a task, and you can immediately get your revenge and humiliate her. And Luo Qianfan says she wasn't wrong though. I am just a slacker. And the system gets disappointed, but she says to Luo Qianfan, but you're a transmigrator. But then Luo Qianfan gets angry and he stands up and in an angry voice he says to the system, so what if I'm a transmigrator? Does being a transmigrator mean I have to compete? That's stereotyping. You're intentionally stirring up conflict against transmigrator. Be careful, you might get called out for that. And the system gets shocked after listening to the words of the protagonist and thinks, this guy, could my perfect record of guiding transmigrators to ascend to higher realms be ruined by him? Damn it! Just you wait. Then the system leaves. And Luo Qianfan smiles and he thinks, so? Looks like that system spirit has let me return. Given up? Heh, no way I'm going back to competing after getting a second chance at life. And seeing Luo Qianfan angry, some ladies talk, look, young Master Luo is smirking. He's angry. It's that woman's fault. Will we be dragged into this if he's mad? And Yu Yan thinks, why isn't he saying anything? Did I go too far and truly anger him? Should I try to smooth things over? But then someone comes to this place and he says, the lady speaks the truth. Luo Qianfan, I hear you haven't even reached the foundation establishment stage. Apart from relying on your family background, what else can you do? Rest assured, my lady. From the moment I saw you, I was captivated by your fearlessness in the face of power. I'm always on your side. His name is Jiang Chuan. But Yu Yan thinks, I don't need your assurance. Why the hell are you butting in? And then again the system appears behind the protagonist, and she says to Luo Qianfan, how about it? Isn't this too much to bear? Just complete a competitive task, and you can slap their faces hard. But Luo Qianfan smiles and he thinks, if you want to slap faces, why rely solely on your system? Fine, let me show you how a young master like me handles things. And Lady Changyu says, come, escort these two out. But Luo Qianfan asks Lady Changyu to wait, and he says to both of them, troublemakers, you two have truly moved me with your words today. Since birth, when I wanted to cultivate, I had endless spirit pills and elixirs at my disposal. When I wanted to play, I had countless heavenly treasures to waste. You could say my illustrious family background has made me number to everything. I hate my wealth. It turned me into an empty shell. And after listening to Luo Qianfan, some ladies say, why do you hear this? Make me so angry? And a girl says, young Master Luo is so handsome even when he's being shameless. And Yu Yan thinks, as expected, I've caught his attention. I don't know why, but listening to him makes me angry. Now I just need to adjust my attitude appropriately, and make him fall for me step by step. Then Luo Qianfan says, so, how about these 5,000 spirit stones to hire you to stay by my side and remind me of my arrogance? And as soon as they hear Luo Qianfan's words, they get very shocked. And the system also gets very shocked. Then Luo Qianfan says, is it not enough? How about 10,000 spirit stones a month? And Jiang Chuan says, Do you think Lady Yu would lower herself for your meager spirit stones? And Yu Yan says, Sword Cultivator Yu Yan pledges to accompany young Master Luo for life, in both indulgence and pleasure. And Jiang Chuan gets very shocked on hearing Yu Yan's words. Luo Qianfan was enjoying it a lot, and the system started breaking his heart into pieces. Jiang Chuan's heart also breaks because he feels that Yu Yan is a gold digger. And Yu Yan goes close to Luo Qianfan and says to him, Brother, please show some self-respect. I belong to young Master Luo now. I don't know you well. Then Yu Yan starts feeding grapes to Luo Qianfan with her hands, seeing which the ladies on both sides of Luo Qianfan start getting angry. And Jiang Chuan gets very angry with Luo Qianfan and shouts at him, Luo Qianfan, I challenge you to a duel. And hearing Jiang Chuan's words, the system becomes very happy and laughingly says, Hee, now your young master act won't work, will it? But Luo Qianfan is still relaxed and he says, Oh, is that so? And Jiang Chuan says, Luo Qianfan, do you dare come down and fight me? And the system tells Luo Qianfan, So, now you're scared, aren't you? In the cultivation world, only strength rules. No matter how powerful your family background is, without strength, even a privileged slacker has to bow down. Don't you feel a burning desire to become stronger? I can help you become stronger if you just complete the task. But Luo Qianfan says, there is a hierarchy even among slackers. Ordinary slackers are arrogant and only bully the weak. Which of yours eyes sees that I'm scared? High-tier slackers look down on everyone and always end up being slapped in the face. But there are also those like me. A top-tier slacker. For a top-tier slacker, there's no need to worry about anything. Naturally, someone around me will take the initiative to solve it for me. And Lady Changyu comes in front of Luo Qianfan to fight for the protagonist, and she says to Jiang Chuan, one after another, You all disrespect my guests like this. Do you really think I won't kill? And Lady Changyu, she releases her dangerous spiritual power against which Jiang Chuan cannot stand. And everyone gets very scared after seeing Lady Changyu's aura and they say, What an overwhelming aura. Lady Changyu is that powerful? Lady Changyu usually only hosts immortal banquets, and rarely fights. We almost forgot that besides being a famous celestial chef, she's also a grand cultivator in the 7th realm of the Yang spirit stage. And when the system saw that Lady Changyu had come forward to fight in place of Luo Qianfan, then it was very shocking. She gets more shocked. Then Jiang Chuan says to Lady Changyu, Why you? You're a 7th realm cultivator, bullying the weak. I refuse to accept this. And Luo Qianfan says, Interesting. So when others rely on their cultivation to pressure you, it's bullying. But now that I'm not even at the foundation establishment, you're using your superior cultivation to challenge me? What does that make you? And after listening to Luo Qianfan's words, the people around him say, Exactly. Allowing yourself to do it but not others, how shameless. These people have completely disgraced the name of sword cultivators. And after listening to those people's words, Jiang Chuan starts getting nervous. But he gets even more angry and says, Damn it! Even if you're a 7th realm grand cultivator, I'll fight you. But then Lady Changyu attacks Jiang Chuan and that too with a small stick. But Lady Changyu's power is very high due to which Jiang Chuan is not able to stop her attack and he starts sliding away. But then someone comes behind Jiang Chuan and stops him from falling. He takes it. And seeing him, Lady Changyu becomes a little serious. And we see that Jiang Chuan's master has come to this place, and he says to Lady Changyu, Lady Changyu, please show mercy. Lady Changyu, may I ask what did my worthless disciple do to deserve such harsh treatment from you? Or do you think your treasure pavilion can simply disregard my Kanglan sword sect? And Yu Yan tells Luo Qianfan, Young master, this is Elder Su of the Tsunglong sword sect. It's said he's at the peak of the 8th realm. He rarely appears as he's usually in section. He must have come out specially because of his direct disciple. And Luo Qianfan thinks, classic defeat the weak, face the master scenario, huh? That system is probably going to freak out again. And the system is very happy to see that elder gets shocked, and she starts laughing and she says, "Truly lucky. The heavens don't intend to abandon me yet. Now let's see if your helpers are of any use. What will you do now?" And Luo Qianfan thinks this system still doesn't understand the true value of being. Atop her slacker. And Lady Changyu says to the elder Su Changsu, "Why don't you ask your disciple first what exactly he did? And whom he offended?" And the elder says, "Even if your father, Lord Longyang, were here today, I would still demand justice for my disciple." And after listening to the words of the elder, Luo Qianfan says, "Your disciple tried to use his superior cultivation to challenge me. Saint Su, I wonder if you could also seek justice for me." And the elder says to Luo Qianfan asks, "And who might you be?" And Jiang Chuan says, "Master, it's this despicable person. He relies on his family background to bully others. I couldn't stand it, so I challenged him to a duel." And Yu Yen shouts, "Don't twist the facts here. I sincerely admire young Master Luo's character, which is why I'm willing to serve him. How dare you fabricate lies like this?" And Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised seeing Yu Yan's anger, but he says, "Saint Su has been in seclusion for many years, so it's no surprise you don't recognize me. My family name is Luo." And as soon as the elder hears Luo Qianfan's family name, he gets very shocked and asks, "What relation do you have with Luo Wuji?" Luo Qianfan proudly replies, "He is my father." Then the system tells Luo Qianfan, "Quit struggling and follow this system's guidance quickly. How could a dignified saint possibly care about your family background? Only your own cultivation is the ultimate reliance." But now when the elder knows what Luo Qianfan's family name? And what is his relation with his family? Now the elder's tone changes and he politely says, "Ah, so you're the son of the Luo family patriarch." And the system is very shocked when it sees that now the elder is talking very politely to Luo Qianfan. And Jiang Chuan is shocked to see the changed tone of the elder. And the elder laughs and says to Luo Qianfan, "I was wondering where such a dazzling genius had appeared from. Oh my, look at this situation, isn't this a case of attacking one's own people?" Then the elder hits Jiang Chuan on the head and says to him, "You fool! Quickly apologize to young Master Luo. Young Master Luo is such a noble figure, he would never do the things you accused him of." And the system is very shocked to see the actions of the elder. And Luo Qianfan laughs and says to the elder, "Misunderstandings are bound to happen. It's good that we've cleared things up. Saint Su, you know my father?" And the elder says, "The prestigious Luo family is famed far and wide. I'm but a humble nobody, not even worthy of your father's acquaintance. Years ago, I had the honor of seeing him from afar. He was truly a transcendent figure, a celestial descended to the mortal realm. You fool, quickly thank you young Master Luo for his generosity." Then Jiang Chuan goes ahead and bows before Luo Qianfan and says to him, "Young Master Luo, thank you for your generosity." And Luo Qianfan like a gentleman says, "It's just a small matter. Sorry for the commotion, everyone. This banquet was meticulously prepared by Lady Changyu. Let's not waste the fine food. Come, let the banquet continue. Let's have drinks." But Jiang Chuan betrays and moves forward to attack Luo Qianfan with a sword, and he says to Luo Qianfan, "You think I'm convinced? Die." And as soon as they see that Jiang Chuan has betrayed and now he has attacked Luo Qianfan with a sword, everyone gets very worried for Luo Qianfan. But the system is happy and she says, "There's another twist." But Luo Qianfan still has a smile on his face, and just as Jiang Chuan's attack was about to hit Luo Qianfan, a barrier is formed in front of Luo Qianfan, seeing which Jiang Chuan gets shocked. And we see that Luo Qianfan is wearing a pendant on his neck which is a very powerful treasure, which stops Jiang Chuan's attack and pushes him away. And everyone gets shocked seeing Luo Qianfan's pendant, and they say, "The ancestral dragon's aura. That's the ancestral dragon pendant." And Jiang Chuan hits a stone and falls on the ground. Then Luo Qianfan smilingly says, "Life is too short. There are so many interesting things to do. Why waste all that energy on endless conflicts?" And the system again becomes very sad and it says there's no twist at all. Then Luo Qianfan takes off the pendant from his neck and he says to the elder, "Saint Su, A master who doesn't teach properly is neglectful. You should discipline this disciple of yours well. And the elder says, Young Master Luo, please calm your anger. I will severely punish this rebellious disciple and give you a satisfactory explanation. And Luo Qianfan throws away the pendant, and while leaving he says, My mood is ruined. Lady Changyun, you're the host of this banquet. How they compensate afterwards is up to you to decide. And Lady Changyu bows down and says goodbye to Luo Qianfan, but Lady Changyu is very angry with Elder, and she says in an angry voice, Su Changsu dash. Do you know how long I've been preparing to invite young Master Luo to this banquet? And Elder says, Lady Changyu, I'm truly sorry. It's all because of my poor teachings, Lady Changyu. I'm willing to compensate. I'll compensate for all your losses. After some time we see that Elder and Jiang Chuan are outside the sect because they have been thrown out of the sect. And Elder says to Jiang Chuan, You've been my disciple since your childhood, and your cultivation path has been too smooth. This setback is a good lesson for you. But Jiang Chuan angrily calls Elder a coward, and Elder gets very angry on hearing this, but Jiang Chuan says to Elder, I said you're a coward, Master. That Luo Qianfan is nothing but a useless waste with a good background. And you submitted to him, you're worse than that waste. But then Elder slaps Jiang Chuan on his cheek and says to him, I thought you were just impulsive, but it turns out you're simply brainless. Did you ever consider what would happen to our sect if you had actually killed Luo Qianfan with your sneak attack today? But now Jiang Chuan becomes very sad and he starts leaving from here. And the elder asks Jiang Chuan where he is going? But Jiang Chuan leaves without saying anything, and seeing him leave from here, the elder says, Forget it. Let him calm down on his own for a while. Then we see Jiang Chuan in a corner who is very angry and he is hitting his hand on the wall, and he says, Luo Qianfan, I'll kill you sooner or later. But then someone says to Jiang Chuan, Do you want to kill Luo Qianfan? And when Jiang Chuan looks back, there are 3 people in black dress and one of them says, Who we are isn't important. What's important is, do you want to kill Luo Qianfan with your own hands? So Jiang Chuan says, Of course. If I don't kill him, I, Jiang Chuan, swear I am no man. Then scene shifts Luo residence. And Luo Qianfan is saying, I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm dying from comfort. This is truly how life should be lived. But the system appears to interfere in Luo Qianfan's life and says, Don't give up on your life like this. Don't you have any dreams? Aren't you ashamed of wasting such a golden opportunity as a transmigrator? Do you not feel bad about wasting an opportunity like this? And Luo Qianfan thinks it would be perfect if not for this annoying system. And the system says, Protective artifacts can only shield you temporarily. Only your own cultivation is your eternal support. And then Luo Qianfan stands up and starts going somewhere, seeing which the system becomes happy and she says, What, have you finally come to your senses and decided to cultivate? As I thought. I knew there was hope for you, host. And Luo Qianfan says to the system, Thanks for reminding me, I almost forgot. And the system says, If you like, I can remind you every day. Then Luo Qianfan opens a door. And we see that there are lots of pendants in it which are more than 90 plus. And seeing that the system gets very shocked and Luo Qianfan wears a pendant, and he says, That I hadn't put on a new amulet after using the last one. Back to my massager. And the system is in a very big shock. She thought that Luo Qianfan will do all the cultivation, but Luo Qianfan is not going to do anything like that. And now the system gets angry at her, and she says, Damn it. You're forcing me now. I originally wanted to act like a normal system with you, but all I got in return was cold treatment. No more pretending. And listening to the system, Luo Qianfan asks the system, What are you trying to do? So the system shows Luo Qianfan a fruit and tells him, This yuan-gathering fruit, once eaten, eating it will allow you to refine pure yuan qi, equivalent to 100 days of cultivation. Just a little effort. And this will be your reward. But Luo Qianfan has no interest in that fruit, so the system starts showing Luo Qianfan a lot of treasures and tells him, Don't like the yuan-gathering fruit? No problem, I've got more. How about blood jade coral, nascent soul fruit, Bodhi flowers, or a 9-turn golden lotus? With a little effort, all these treasures can be yours. System Manual, Rule 5. Appropriate incentives can be used to guide the host. But Luo Qianfan says stop it. I still need to finish my massage. And the system gets frustrated and then says, you've forced me to bring out my trump card. How about this? This is the 9-turn silver star fire tree. Every 100 years, it grows a single branch, and its leaves can nourish the soul. And Luo Qianfan gets a little interested in seeing the fire tree, and the system says to Luo Qianfan, okay? Do you even know the value of this tree? It's a top-tier celestial spiritual plant, extremely rare in the world. But then an old man comes there, and he is Luo Dingho, Luo Qianfan's second grandfather, top-tier alchemist. And Luo Qianfan greets Grandpa and asks him, Second Grandpa, what brings you here? Second Grandpa laughs and says, ha ha ha, I came especially to thank you. Thanks to your relationship advice last time, I feel Lihua has become much closer to me recently. But then Second Grandpa's attention goes to the fire tree, and he says, could this be the 9-turn silver star fire tree? And System gets happy and she says, oh, finally, someone who knows its value. And Luo Qianfan says, Second Grandpa, you're also into bonsai? And System says, this isn't bonsai. And Second Grandpa says, ugh, putting this thing here is just a nuisance. I've made a yuan spirit pill with the 10-turn silver star fire tree as the main ingredient. It's even better than the tree itself, and it won't harm your soul. Plus, it's chicken flavored. And when the system sees so many yuan spirit pills, it gets very shocked. And Luo Qianfan thanks Grandpa, and Grandpa says there are 200 or 300 pills in this bag. It should last you a few years. And looking at the system, it seems as if it is after some kind of host to make it its master? Then the system takes out a book, and it says, Major Crisis. This is absolutely the biggest crisis in this system's professional career. If you don't like spiritual treasures, I also have celestial weapons and mystical artifacts. As long as you're willing to put in a little effort, they can all be yours. And then a servant comes to Luo Qianfan and says to him, Young master, the Kanglan Sword sect has sent an apology gift. And Luo Qianfan asks, oh? What did they send? So the servant says, mostly some worthless celestial weapons, but among them is the Kanglan sect's ancestral Kanglan water-splitting sword. It's pretty decent. Please take a look, young master. And Luo Qianfan starts looking at the sword. Then he says to Yu Yan, I remember you're a sword cultivator, right? Then this sword is yours. And Yu Yan becomes happy and thanks Luo Qianfan. But the system is getting very angry because her weapon is nothing but a worthless one. After some time the system says to Luo Qianfan, I have top-tier cultivation techniques that can help you quickly become immortal. But Luo Qianfan does not pay attention to the system's words, and he says to Yu Yan, what? Haven't you practiced any good techniques? My Luo family's scripture library has collected 3,000 immortal techniques. Go there and choose a few for yourself. Now that you're under my command, you can't lose face. And on hearing Luo Qianfan's words, the system gets very angry and says, this host is too difficult to guide. Next day Luo Qianfan is sitting and fishing. Then the system sees a warning sign and says, warning. System error, self-checking in progress. Wary. And Luo Qianfan thinks, he has it reached its breaking point. It would be nice if it could unbind itself now. But then someone says to Luo Qianfan, stay focused, a fish just bit the bait. And as soon as Luo Qianfan hears this, he quickly pulls up the fishing rod due to which he has caught a fish. And a man comes in front of him and says to him, lucky catch, it's a red tail. After refining this, it could equal 100 years of martial cultivation. And he is Luo Wanfu warlord and a martial saint. And Luo Qianfan says to Fourth Uncle, you know I'm not interested in these things. So Fourth Uncle says, your father is about to come out of seclusion. If he sees that your cultivation hasn't progressed in these years, aren't you afraid of his scolding? And Luo Qianfan says, no worries if he scolds me. I'll just go complain to mother. And Fourth Uncle starts laughing and he says, to be able to say, complain, so confidently, that's quite a skill of yours. And then a man comes behind Fourth Uncle and that man gives something to Fourth Uncle and goes from there. Then fourth uncle starts looking at the letter. And Luo Qianfan also notices it, and he asks fourth uncle, "What is it, fourth uncle? Something wrong?" So fourth uncle says it's nothing, just that with yours father about to break through. Some people are getting restless. Just a bunch of clowns. After some time, Luo Qianfan is sitting comfortably and reading the book, and he is thinking, speaking of which, after father's breakthrough this time, he'll be a true immortal, right? This spine-chilling realm hierarchy, isn't it just like the education system from my previous life? Why could I possibly invest my limited life into this endless rat race? Why can't that system girl understand? And then Luo Qianfan gets a system notification, system self-upgrade successful. You are now bound to the slacker system, and then the system appears to disturb Luo Qianfan's peaceful life, and she says to Luo Qianfan, "Congratulations, host. By completing slacker tasks, you will receive super rewards." But Luo Qianfan gets disappointed seeing the system, and he thinks that it has come again to trouble me? And Luo Qianfan refuses the system, and the system asks Luo Qianfan that why are you refusing me? So in response to this, Luo Qianfan says, "No reason, I just don't want to." And Luo Qianfan thinks, are systems this desperate nowadays? But the system keeps bothering Luo Qianfan, and she says, "I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Even changed my name for you. You must slack off. You love slacking off the most." And Luo Qianfan closes his ears because of the system's repeated shouting. Then he says, "You still don't understand the true essence of slacking off. So what if you changed your name? If you slack off with a purpose, doesn't this kind of slacking off just become another form of rat race?" And the system gets shocked after listening to Luo Qianfan, and she says, "I am speechless, and even feel like it makes some sense." And then a boy comes to that place, and his name is Yu Huang. And Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised on seeing Yu Huang, and he asks, "Weren't you grounded by your father? How did you come here?" So Yu Huang says, "There's a courtesan competition at Linglong Pavilion today, so I sneaked out." So Luo Qianfan says, "Aren't you afraid your father will punish you?" So in response to this, Yu Huang showed Luo Qianfan something which shocked me too, and he shows his back and says, "It's fine, he's already punished me." And seeing this, Luo Qianfan says, "You don't think about bandaging yourself?" But Yu Huang smilingly says to Luo Qianfan, "Brother Luo, care to join me at Linglong Pavilion?" And Luo Qianfan says, "You're not using me as a shield because you're afraid your father will be watching over you, are you?" But Yu Huang emotionally blackmails Luo Qianfan and says to him, "Brother Luo, this younger brother of yours truly wants to go to Linglong Pavilion." And listening to Yu Huang, Luo Qianfan also becomes a little emotional, and he says, "Fine, I have nothing else to do anyway. I'll go with you to see this courtesan competition." And Yu Huang thanks Luo Qianfan. And the system is listening to their conversation, but the system starts smiling, and she says, "Not cultivating but going to brothels to listen to music. Slacker achievement unlocked." And then Luo Qianfan's body starts glowing, and the system says to Luo Qianfan, "Received spiritual energy as reward," and the cultivation level rapidly increased. And a golden-colored aura starts coming out of Luo Qianfan's body, which goes up tearing the sky, and seeing this everyone gets surprised, and Jiang Chuan also sees this thing, and he says, "This is resonance of the great Tao." And the man in black clothes says, "Could it be that Luo Wuji is about to exit seclusion and face his tribulation? Impossible. How could it be so soon? Heaven does not favor me, allowing this man to advance so quickly." Then one of the old men says, "Don't panic, it's just the resonance of the Tao right now, the tribulation clouds haven't formed yet, but it looks like we'll have to move our plan ahead. Keep a close eye on Luo Qianfan's movements. As soon as he leaves the mansion, we'll take action." And the other black-clothed man says, "Isn't it too hasty to act now?" But the old man says, "Time waits for no one. That Luo Wuji has profound foundations, his true immortal tribulation is almost guaranteed success. The only way to injure him is to kill his son before the tribulation, shattering his Tao heart, and using them tribulation against him. Jiang Yisher, the immortal Luo family has long been a scourge. Whether we can slay this villain now depends entirely on you." We then see Luo Qianfan, who is shocked, and Yu Huang is a little surprised. but he is very happy for Luo Qianfan and he says, "Young Master Luo? What was that just now? Did you awaken your true divinity, or did you invite a deity to possess you? You never seem to cultivate, but turns out you are secretly working hard." But Luo Qianfan says, "It's not what you think. This was an accident. I'm not the hard-working type at all." And Yu Huang says, "Brother Luo, don't worry, I get it playing dumb to catch the tiger, right?" And Luo Qianfan tries to make Yu Huang understand and says to him, "You don't get anything. I told you, it's not like that." And then System comes behind Luo Qianfan and she says, "Phew, congratulations on your cultivation breakthrough, Master." And Luo Qianfan says, "Was this your doing, you troublemaker?" And System laughs and thinks, he after experiencing the joy of a breakthrough, have you changed your mind? Little by little, I'll slowly bring you down." And Luo Qianfan thinks, failed to persuade, now resorting to force, this System girl is really annoying. Then the scene shifts, Linglong Pavilion. There are many females here who are attracting men towards themselves and all the people here are enjoying themselves a lot, and there is a lot of hustle-bustle in this place. And then a servant comes running to a lady and says to that lady, "Oh, my dear, hurry up, will you?" Then the lady says, "What's the rush?" The more a man can't get something, the more interested he becomes. So the man says, "It's different today though, this customer is a young master from the Immortal Luo family, not just anyone." And the man does not know that behind him there are strange black hands which quickly grab the man and the lady. And then a man wearing black clothes comes to that place, and he looks dangerous. Then he shows his face, half of his face has a black aura spread over it. Then the man opens a small bottle and says, "Time's running out. Looks like we'll have to send Li Mei in." And something starts coming out of the small bottle, and it looks like a ghost. Then the man says to the ghost, "Possess this woman's body, get close to the target." And the ghost says to that man, after this, "Give me back my freedom." But the man in black cloth uses some technique due to which the ghost starts feeling a lot of pain and he says, "You're in no position to make demands. Now possess this woman." And that lady gets very scared, but that ghost says sorry to that lady and possesses her body, and now she has completely entered inside the girl's body. And now she is controlling the lady. And seeing this, the man in black cloth is happy and he says, "Good. Quickly get things in order. The prey is about to arrive." After some time we see that there is a lot of crowd at this place, and everyone is enjoying themselves and the girls are dancing. Then the same possessed lady offers a drink to Luo Qianfan. And Luo Qianfan starts looking at that lady, and this lady's name is Madame Courtesan, and she says, "Young master, you seem unhappy. Could it be that you're dissatisfied with me?" So Luo Qianfan says, "It's nothing, just an annoying fly that keeps buzzing around me." And after listening to Luo Qianfan's words, the System feels that Luo Qianfan is talking about him. And Luo Qianfan thinks this out-of-control System is bound to get me into trouble one day. Sigh, why is she so obsessed with making me cultivate? Then Madame Courtesan's attention goes towards Luo Qianfan's pendant. Then a servant comes to that place and he says to Luo Qianfan, "Young master, a sword cultivator from the Kanglan sword sect, and wishes to meet with you in person and apologize." And Luo Qianfan says, "Kanglan sword sect? Let him in." And after some time Jiang Chuan comes to Luo Qianfan and Luo Qianfan looks at Jiang Chuan and says, "So, it's you. Here to present treasures again? Your Kanglan sword sect really does rely on that one trick." And Jiang Chuan says, "A few days ago, I lost my senses and tried to harm you, causing you to lose a top-tier protective artifact. I've come with treasures to apologize." But Jiang Chuan thinks, "Enjoy your moment of pride. Once I kill that good-for-nothing playboy, I'll come for you, you arrogant woman who won't even look at me properly." Then the servant shows the artifact to Luo Qianfan and Luo Qianfan also starts looking at the artifact carefully. But then Madame Courtesan uses her power to destroy Luo Qianfan's pendant, and the System notices this, and he gets a little scared. She is shocked, but she is happy inside and she says, "Well, now things are getting interesting." System Manual, Article 13. Putting the host in life and death crises can increase their dependence on the system. My chance has come again. And Luo Qianfan looks at the system and he thinks, this guy. What's she scheming this time? And the system rewards Luo Qianfan and says, host lazes around again, slacker bonus activated, slacker gift package awarded. And Luo Qianfan looks at the system with angry eyes and says to it, stop messing around. Then we see Jiang Chuan, who is now ready to use one of his techniques, and he understands that the time has come. Then he starts activating the butterfly formation, seeing which Yu Huang gets very scared. But then a soldier comes in front of Luo Qianfan to protect Luo Qianfan. And the soldier attacks Jiang Chuan and destroys his formation. And then we see that the men in black clothes come there and the soldier asks them who they are. But they don't say anything and activate a formation, due to which a pressure is generated, and seeing this they get very surprised and the soldier says, damn, it's an imprisonment formation. Then the soldier looks at the man in black clothes and understands what he has to do. Then he orders his soldier and tells, those 4 are the core, kill them to break the formation and save the young master. Then we see Jiang Chuan, who is very angry, and he says to Luo Qianfan, the formation is complete. No one above foundation establishment can enter now. Luo Qianfan, I want to see how you'll escape this time. And Luo Qianfan says, did you forget? There's still a foundation establishment swordsman here. And Yu Yan attacks Jiang Chuan and Jiang Chuan gets angry seeing this. But Yu Yan tells him, I belong to young Master Luo now. How can I just sit back and watch you harm him? And Jiang Chuan says, fine, then I'll deal with you first. Then both of them start fighting. Then the system tells Luo Qianfan, that new subordinate of yours doesn't look like he's a match for that guy. How does it feel to be in despair? And Yu Huang gets a little nervous and tells Luo Qianfan, Brother Luo, going out for fun with you is way too risky. And Luo Qianfan says, you're quite the gentleman, aren't you? When those poison insects flew in, you instinctively protected the beauty beside you. And Yu Huang gets happy on hearing this and he says, my dad always taught me, a man's success depends on the right time, place, and people. The same goes for failure. But if a man can't protect the woman by his side, he's utterly useless. And the system thinks, pretend all you want. Just wait until you realize your protective artifact has failed, you'll come begging me for help. Then the system imagines how Luo Qianfan will finally beg for help from him. What? My protective artifact is broken. System lady, save me. You've unlocked the Slacker's Mega Gift Pack. You received 5 critical hit block cards. Critical hit block. As expected, when it matters most, the system lady is the most reliable. I'll listen to her from now on. And imagining this, the system starts laughing, and seeing the system laughing like this, Luo Qianfan says, this system is getting crazier day by day. And then Jiang Chuan hits Yu Yan. And seeing this, the system starts getting happy. Then Jiang Chuan starts moving towards Luo Qianfan and says to him, Luo Qianfan, now it's your turn. And the system happily says, finally, time for this system to shine. And then someone breaks the roof and enters the pavilion, and due to his power Jiang Chuan falls away. And we see that a dangerous man has come in front of Jiang Chuan, and he is Luo family's divine guard, Su Gao. And Su Gao looks at Jiang Chuan and says to him, arrogant brat, drop your sword, and I'll leave your corpse intact. And Jiang Chuan gets scared and he says, how could this be? Weren't they supposed to hold out for at least for an incense stick? It's only been a moment, damn it! This shouldn't be happening. And Jiang Chuan tries to run away from this place to escape from Su Gao. But when Su Gao sees that he is running away, then how can he let Jiang Chuan go so easily? So he quickly goes and holds Jiang Chuan's head and says to him, attempting to assassinate our young master, you must die. And Jiang Chuan says in fear, no. Please. I'm from the Konglan sword sect. And seeing this, the system becomes sad again. But then someone says, Brother Luo, watch out. And we see that Yu Yan attacks Luo Qianfan, and seeing this the system becomes happy and she says, there's still a chance. Look at my critical hit blow. But then someone comes to block Yu Yan's attack and hits Yu Yan very easily and throws her away. And she is Luo Qianfan's personal attendant. And the system be like, seriously, you're hiding all these fucking people around you just to play mahjong. And Yu Yan recalls that she was given a mission and was told, Your mission is to infiltrate and stay close to Luo Qianfan, wait for their opportunity, and assassinate him. And Yu Yan thinks success, this fool is so easy to deceive. Humph, when I use this sword to kill you later, I wonder what you'll think. As expected of the infamous foolish young master, he probably doesn't even know the value of this scripture pavilion. Too bad the mission comes first, otherwise I'd love to take a look at the rare manuscripts of the immortal Luo family. And Luo Qianfan says to Yu Yan, I thought you'd keep up the act for a bit longer, but you reveal your true colors quicker than I expected. And Yu Yan gets a little surprised. Then she says, the world sees you as a fool and wastrel, but it seems they've misunderstood. When did you start suspecting me? So Luo Qianfan says, whether I gifted you a sword or awarded you cultivation technique, you always gave me the same wide-eyed, fake reaction. I couldn't sense any excitement from you at all. It's hard to believe you're just an ordinary sword cultivator with no background. Now you have two choices in front of you. First, tell me everything you know right now and die painless death. Second, I'll leave you with some torture experts, and then you'll tell me everything as you approach your death slowly. And Yu Yan starts grinding her teeth and she says, do as you wish, kill me or torture me? And Luo Qianfan says, good, I like your rebellious spirit. Then Luo Qianfan says to Su Gao, it seems my fourth uncle is using me as bait to fish. I knew something was off when the shadow guard handed him a secret message in front of me. Now tell me, what's going on this time? And Su Gao says the divine guards received news that some people don't want the Patriarch to break through, so a group has secretly infiltrated the city, planning to assassinate you to provoke the family head's heart demon and interfere with his tribulation. And the system comes behind Luo Qianfan and smilingly says, oh my, I smelled the scent of danger. And Luo Qianfan thinks your mood swings are too extreme. And the system says, enemies lurking in the shadows are indeed hard to defend against. What do you think, feeling scared? At times like these, only having power in your own hands works. How about it? Hurry up and start the mission, the rewards are very generous. And Luo Qianfan says, even now, you still don't understand the true value of my playboy act. Then Ing says, young master, based on this situation, strategy no 19th, 45th, 60th, and 72nd can be used from your military strategies to resolve this situation. And Luo Qianfan says, don't waste time. Just use the 72nd strategy. And Su Gao asks Ing, what is this 72nd strategy? So Ing tells, when the young master was 13, he hired 3,000 strategists, and after a year, they formulated 167 strategies. They cover various possibly assassination attempts, ambushes, and other emergencies that might occur in the future. And Su Gao laughs and says, as expected of the young master, always thinking 2 steps ahead and preparing for any situation. And the system says, really, is it necessary for you to exaggerate like this? And Luo Qianfan says, why bother thinking for myself when I can have others handle all the details? That night, the men in black clothes are talking and they are saying, curfew enforced, city sealed by formations, everyone, stay indoors and don't wander. And the other man says, what do we do? The Luo family has used a grand formation to seal the city. Now, not even a fly or a demon can escape. I told you the plan to assassinate Luo Qianfan was too rushed. Now we've alerted them, not only did we fail, but we're also trapped. Then the old man says to them, enough. At this point, there's only one option left. And another man asks, what option? So the old man says, burn the boats, kill Luo Qianfan at all costs. So they say, what? Kill Luo Qianfan at all costs? But he has the Luo family's direct bloodline seal on his body. Right, if we kill him, we'll be marked by the heaven's blood imprint, and the Luo family will hunt us down for generations. And the old man says, I know you have your concerns, but we have no way out. We can't leave the city, and it's only a matter of time before we're discovered. If that happens, we'll die anyway. And all 3 are surprised to hear the old man's words. Then we see Luo Qianfan and he says, it's been a while since I've come up here to enjoy the view. Then Luo Qianfan sees those men in black clothes and seeing them he says, oh ho, looks like you're being desperate, ready to jump like cornered dogs. And they try to run away from this place, but because of the formation they are not able to run away, and they say, "Too bad, all routes have been blocked." And then those people start moving towards Luo Qianfan, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised, but he starts smiling and says that after all these people are coming towards me. Then the people in black clothes say that we will have to attack Luo Qianfan together, and they attack Luo Qianfan. But then thunder starts in the sky, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets happy and he says, "It's thundering, time to grab the laundry in before it rains." And then there is an explosion, seeing which the people in black clothes get very shocked, and when the smoke starts clearing slowly, then someone says, "Behold, this is the essence of the 72nd military strategy." And Luo Qianfan says, "First, stir the grass to startle the snake, then push your opponent until they're cornered like a desperate dog, and finally call the parents." And he is Luo Qianfan's father. Then we see that the sky is covered with dark clouds and there is thundering in the sky. And when the people in black clothes see Luo Wuji, they get very scared and they say, "Damn it! How did Luo Wuji came out from seclusion so early?" And Luo Wuji is very angry and he shouts at those people, "You vermin, dare to harm my son?" And Luo Wuji releases his aura, due to which those people are not even able to block the aura, and blood starts coming out of their mouth, and they get injured. And seeing this, the old man gets very shocked and he thinks, he hasn't even successfully passed his tribulation yet. How can there be such a huge gap when we're all in the false immortal realm? And the people of the man in black clothes start running away in fear, and the old man asks them to come back to fight. But they are not going to stay here, they start running to save their lives. But Luo Wuji tells them, "Since you're here, don't even think about leaving." And Luo Wuji attacks them and kills many of them. And seeing this, the old man asks his companions to hold on, but Luo Wuji tells them, "I will cut off your path to immortality." And Luo Wuji makes a very dangerous attack on them, seeing which both Luo Qianfan and the system are very surprised. But Luo Qianfan is happy and he tells the system, "See, compared to your so-called grand gift, this is what real power looks like." And after listening to Luo Qianfan, the system gets angry and disappears from there. Then we see the old man who is trembling with fear and he says, "Just how deep are Luo Wuji's foundations?" And then someone says, "Why is the tribulation having almost no effect on him?" And the old man hears the voice and understands that their ancestor has come here to save them. And we see that a huge spiritual hand catches those people and they get happy after seeing it and say, "The ancestor has come to save us, we're saved." And Luo Wuji understands after seeing the spiritual hand that this is a true immortal. But he starts smiling and then he takes out his weapon and he says, "Trying to save someone from me? A mere true immortal isn't qualified to make me go back on my word." And then thundering starts in the sky, seeing which Luo Wuji gets a little angry, then he does an attack due to which the sky is cut into two parts, and seeing this the old man is shocked and he says, "He split the tribulation clouds, is this guy even still a false immortal?" And Luo Qianfan says, "This is like the Cultivator version of Overkill. Nothing left to see here, let's head back." And as soon as Luo Qianfan moves forward, some power starts pulling Luo Qianfan towards itself, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets very shocked. And Luo Qianfan is drawn to the sky, and the one doing this is his father, and his father says, "How does it feel looking at this?" So Luo Qianfan says, "Well, it's kinda flashing." And Luo Wuji starts gathering thunder in his hands and he says, "Anything else?" And Luo Qianfan says, "That kind of noisy?" And his father says, "This true immortal tribulation is quite different from the ordinary tribulations you know about. Watch closely. Consider it a learning experience. When you face enemies, throw this at them. It's much better than any lightning talisman." And his father calms down a little. Then Luo Qianfan starts looking at the system. Then he keeps the lightning talisman with him. And the system starts looking at Luo Qianfan, and Luo Qianfan says to the system, "You really enjoy watching people face tribulations, huh? You're not pushing me to cultivate just to see me go through one, right?" So the system says, "No, never mind." And saying this, the system disappears again. Several hours later, fourth uncle is preparing to drink tea comfortably, and then Luo Qianfan comes to fourth uncle and he is a little angry, and he says to fourth uncle, "Fourth uncle, that was a bit unfair. Didn't you promise not to use me as bait anymore? So fourth uncle says to Luo Qianfan, it's my fault, Qianfan. Tell me what you want, and fourth uncle will make it up to you. And Luo Qianfan happily says, anything? Even that fishing rod made by the Shukong Treasure Pavilion? And on hearing this, fourth uncle becomes a little nervous, and then Luo Qianfan's father comes there, and he goes and sits in front, and fourth uncle starts making tea for Luo Wuji, and he says, congratulations, Patriarch, for achieving the true immortal realm. May your immortal blessings be eternal. So Luo Wuji says, Wanfu, we're brothers, no need for such formality. And Luo Wuji says to Luo Qianfan, you've reached the foundation establishment? So Luo Qianfan says, it was accidental. And his father says, it's a pity that you broke through a bit late. If you were at spirit condensation or in the late stage of foundation establishment, you could participate in the opening of the Ancient Immortal Academy's secret realm. But with just early stage foundation establishment, even if you enter, it won't be much help. And Luo Qianfan says, what a pity. But he thinks, Ancient Immortal Academy? Sounds troublesome. Just for that, I definitely won't break through to the late stage of foundation establishment. And Luo Wuji says, speaking of which, Qianfan, you're of marriageable age now. And Luo Qianfan says, what? Why bring that up all of a sudden? And his father says, the Qintian dynasty has been wanting to form an alliance with our Luo family through marriage. After careful consideration, you're the perfect match. It'll also help you settle down. Soon, they'll come to discuss your marriage. And fourth uncle says, the Qintian dynasty? It couldn't be, that empress, right? So Luo Wuji says, indeed. Qianfan, have you heard of her? And Luo Qianfan says, I've heard a bit. And Luo Qianfan thinks, this isn't good. Empress Lin Wanlan of the Qintian dynasty, though newly enthroned, has already made many significant moves in court, causing quite a stir. Being the empress's husband means my peaceful life will be completely ruined. Then Luo Qianfan says to his father, Father, for such a major matter, shouldn't we, no need to discuss this further. And his father says, also, don't think about running to your mother. She's been hoping for you to marry soon, and after learning about this girl, she's quite satisfied. And Luo Qianfan thinks, I didn't expect that even after transmigrating, I couldn't escape being forced into marriage. And fourth uncle says, when do you plan to announce your breakthrough to the world? And Luo Wuji says, you handle that. I've just broken through, and I need some time in seclusion to stabilize my realm. And Luo Qianfan thinks, no way, I can't give up like this. For the sake of my peaceful life. And then Luo Qianfan gets an idea and he says to his father, Father, although these people were trying to disrupt your true immortal tribulation, they targeted me. I want to personally seek revenge. And his father says, normally, you avoid getting involved in these matters because you find them troublesome, don't you? And Luo Qianfan says, after this assassination attempt, I've come to many realizations. When it comes to revenge, I have to handle it myself. And his father says, since you want to seek revenge personally, I'll leave it to you. Then Luo Qianfan starts leaving and he says to his father, all right, Father, I'll go interrogate the captured ones and find out who's the mastermind. And Luo Qianfan starts running away from here, and seeing him going, Luo Wuji says, as for the Qintian dynasty matter, it's related to you as well. What's your opinion? Then fourth uncle says, I've been idle lately, so I don't mind getting involved. But Qianfan, I doubt he'll be very happy about it. And Luo Wuji says, during my tribulation today, I realized its power is getting weaker compared to before. Perhaps in the near future, we'll see emperors sovereign and false immortals everywhere. And fourth uncle says, the path to immortality is easy, yet people prefer the side paths. Now that heaven has become more lenient, it could mean a prosperous era of immortality is coming. There's only a fine line between prosperity and case. And at night, Luo Qianfan is going somewhere with Ying, and Luo Qianfan thinks, I'll use this opportunity for revenge to lay low for a while. But then Luo Qianfan stops and starts looking at his pendant. Then we see the system, and the system is very sad, and she is not able to understand what she should do now. And I really feel very bad for the system that Luo Qianfan is not paying attention to her. But never mind, let's move ahead. Then the system says, after watching the tribulation, I don't know why, but my mood just turned down. And an error is seen in the eyes of the system, and then she understands what she should do now. And she starts looking at Luo Qianfan's memories, and the system sees Luo Qianfan's childhood memories, how he has grown up, and how he enjoys his life. And remembering all these memories, the system is getting happy because the system has been with Luo Qianfan since his childhood. And she says, ever since Luo Qianfan transmigrated, the system has been watching him. Finally, the host is going to start cultivating. The system can finally activate. And when Luo Qianfan created a fire for the first time from his cultivation, he was very happy. The system was also very happy to see him grow in cultivation, and she said, how cute, are you going to show it off? But the system gets shocked when she sees that Luo Qianfan is using the power of his cultivation to cook fish. That day, the system experienced its first disappointment using cultivation techniques to grill fish. I won't give up. At this time, Luo Qianfan was arranged to have one-on-one tutoring when Luo Wuji came out of seclusion. And the teacher says to Luo Qianfan, so, as I was saying, a cultivator's physique is crucial to their progress. But if the physics is too strong, it becomes an immortal physics, which actually hinders cultivation progress. And Luo Qianfan thinks, I knew breaking through to foundation establishment would be troublesome. And the teacher says, young master, although you only have grade B aptitude, with the family's resources, you shouldn't worry about this at all. You've just broken through foundation establishment, so remember to nourish your meridians daily. Your most important task now is to stabilize your cultivation. And Luo Qianfan says, alright, I'll nourish them properly. And Luo Qianfan thinks, just nurture them for a lifetime, the meridians are so cute, I must cherish them well. And then the system says to Luo Qianfan, after half-heartedly completing a class, vital energy plus 137. And then blood starts coming out of Luo Qianfan's mouth, seeing which the teacher is very surprised, and he comes to Luo Qianfan and asks him what happened. So Luo Qianfan says, it's nothing, just my meridians are suddenly overflowing with energy. And Luo Qianfan thinks I let my guard down. I thought the system had been quiet, but turns out it was planning a sneak attack. And the teacher says, phew. Luckily, it's just unstable energy. And Luo Qianfan says, I'm not feeling well today, so let's end the lessons here. And the master says, yes, young master. Please take care and rest. Then Luo Qianfan comes inside his room and he says to the system, what are you up to now? And the system starts laughing and she says, after our last conversation, I've come to a deep realization, as a slacker system, the tasks I issued were just pointless for the sake of slacking, with major design flaws. So I've learned from experience, and based on your daily routine, from now on, you won't need to worry about completing tasks anymore. Just watch, will ya? And Luo Qianfan says, you're surprisingly good at figuring out what the client wants. From then on, no matter what work Luo Qianfan does, he starts getting energy points from the system, like playing game with a friend, vital energy plus 739, enjoying at the beach, vital energy plus 99, enjoying a meal, vital energy plus 183, congratulations host, your cultivation has advanced to the late foundation establishment stage. And seeing such a situation, Luo Qianfan gets very angry and says, fine, if you're going to play dirty, don't blame me for doing the same. Then Luo Qianfan asks his servant for something which they have brought for Luo Qianfan in a big box, and they tell Luo Qianfan, young master, this is all we've gathered so far. And Luo Qianfan says, it should be enough for now. And the system asks Luo Qianfan, what are you planning to do? So Luo Qianfan opens a bottle and he tells the system, you'll find out soon. And Luo Qianfan eats a lot of pills in one go, seeing which the system does not understand anything. Inside Luo Qianfan's meridians, tiny spirit energy figures, and as soon as Luo Qianfan eats the pills, his energy starts flowing here and there. And we see that Luo Qianfan's physics power starts increasing and cultivation level starts decreasing, seeing which the system does not understand anything. And the system says to Luo Qianfan, you're actually trying to weaken your cultivation by improving your physique. And Luo Qianfan says, you think it's over? Tell the kitchen they don't need to prepare my dinner. Then the scene shifts, Patriarch's meeting hall, and Luo Wuji says, You're saying that my son, in order to quickly break through to late-stage foundation establishment, and enter that immortal ancient secret realm, forcefully cultivated until he coughed blood? And the teacher laughs and says, Yes, young master has been working really hard. And Luo Wuji also starts laughing and he says, Good. If my son is working this hard, how can I, as his father, let him down? Go to the treasury, retrieve the treasured 9 Revolution breakthrough pill. I will personally help my son break through to the late foundation establishment. At night we see that all the boxes are empty and Luo Qianfan's physique power has increased. Physique, A rank, 99%, cultivation, mid-foundation establishment down. And after taking so many pills Luo Qianfan's stomach is now full and he says, Ugh, just a bit more and it'll be an immortal physique. With this physique, breaking through to late foundation establishment is nearly as difficult as reaching the self-enlightenment stage. Then Luo Qianfan says to the system, You think you can beat me? And then Luo Qianfan's father comes there, seeing which Luo Qianfan gets a little surprised and his father says to him, I heard you've been worrying about breaking through late foundation establishment, Sai. Look at you, it's only been a few days, and yours the complexion has become so poor. It's my fault, I've put too much pressure on you. Here, this is the 9 Revolution breakthrough pill from Treasure Pavilion. It can help cultivators below the 4 mortal realms break through 2 stages without restriction. I used to worry about your mentality, so I didn't want you relying on pills for breakthroughs. But times have changed. You've proven your dedication to the Tao. Now is the right time to use it. Quick, take it. Don't worry about the excess energy, I'll personally help you absorb it. And hearing this the system becomes very happy. But Luo Qianfan is very shocked because he has already taken a lot of pills to reduce his cultivation level. And he says to his father, No way? You can't scam your son like this. Just like that, Luo Qianfan broke through 2 realms overnight, the self-enlightenment realm. Then the scene shifts to Linglong Pavilion. We see that suddenly some people open Madame Courtesan's door and come inside. And seeing those people, Madame Courtesan gets surprised and asks, Who are you people? And these people are Luo Qianfan's soldiers. And one of them says, Under the young master's order, I've come to buy out the courtesan's freedom. And then some people start talking and say, What's going on? Barging into a brothel at dawn to buy out a courtesan? Who's so domineering? And the other man says, Is there even a need to guess? In this city, who else dares to act so arrogantly? Of course, it can only be the infamous playboy of the immortal Luo family, Luo Qianfan.